Okay, so we'll start. It is exactly 7:06. We'll start. All right. Good evening, everyone. Once again, I believe you all can hear me, right? I believe everyone is hearing me.
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay,
We can hear you.
okay. That's good. That's good. So, last class, we started late for some reason, and I made it clear that it won't happen again. And you guys can see that today we started very early, and for that reason, we could not finish what we had to finish in the last class. Okay, so we'll be continuing from where we stopped last, and we talk about the remaining part of the list, and then we talk about string formatting. We'll talk about our last our class on string. Okay, I I noticed that I noticed that some the task that was given, people made use of string formatting. I didn't actually teach that, so I think I will share that knowledge here so that everyone, because someone made complaint of someone's code and said that you not understand the code due to the string formatting there. So we'll talk about that as well today. Someone has written on my screen. Someone has annotated on my screen. Someone has written on my screen. All right. So so this was where we left. Sorry, this was where we stopped in the last class. List built-in function, and we ran into some problem using the max, the mean, and the sum with list of strings. And I said that in this class I will explain to us why what we had last class happened. Okay, thanks to one of our students that researched on it, and she shared the idea with me. Okay, so I'll just share I'll just share the idea here with all of us. Okay, so you can learn. All right. So we start with the learn again, and I know we all know what that does, but we just start from there again, and then we continue to the end. Right. So we right. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. For those of us that was in the last class, we talked about these four things here that is necessary to be in our task. Okay. So if we can involve those four things in our task, it will help us in a long way. All right. So I'll just take that off. I'll just take that off. Okay. And then will we'll start with the learn function. Okay. So first of all, I'll make a sample list here, and I'll save it to a variable for sample list. Okay, and like we said, a list is basically collection of things enclosed within square brackets. Okay, separated by commas. Okay, and we are also aware that a list can contain both integers, strings, and as well as a list in it as well. Okay, so we'll be looking at a list of strings. Okay, so first of all, I'll start with let's say list of fruits. Okay, so we go with mango, we'll go with apple, and we'll go with which other fruit? Pineapple, and which other fruits? Okay, it says strawberry, right? Because it's that strawberry. Okay, So that's our sample list of fruits. We'll do one more list. Okay, we say list of numbers. Let's list of numbers. Okay, we have, let's say 4, 6, 8, and then we have 10. Okay, let's just stick with that. So the first built-in function we are going to take a look at is the len function. Okay, and we said that the len function actually what it does is it returns the number of items in the list. So this function when we use it with lists or string, it counts how many items is there in the list. Then in the case of a string, it counts how many characters is there in the string. So if we say x equals len of sample lists, okay, and then we say y equals len of len of list numbers. Okay, and then we print this out. Okay, we print this out. So we go ahead and print x here, go ahead and print y here. Okay, and then we run this. We have 4, 4, and I believe we know why we have that. What's going on? Sorry, I think I've closed. And we all know why that's return 4 and 4, because in the first list we have in this first list we have 4 items, which is mango, apple, pineapple, and strawberry. The same with the other list. We have 34, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so that's basically what the len does. And then we have another one. We have another one, the sum function, and the other one returns the sum of items in the list. Okay, so if we execute this, let me close most of these things here. Okay, so if you perform a sum on the sample list and perform a sum as well in the list of numbers, okay, but okay, let me cut the one of numbers out first, and let's see what this other one gives us. We have an error message. Okay, that's because this function does not concatenate. What it does the actual addition. So when we perform this function on a list of strings, it cannot actually do the addition of those strings there. It can add mango plus apple plus pineapple plus strawberry. Okay, but in normal sense, okay, we can concatenate, but this function here can't concatenate. This function here does the actual addition. And so when we pass in this list to this function, we will have an error. So that function is there anyone having difficulty in hearing me?
No, I can hear you, sir.
Someone is having difficulty hearing us. Okay.
I think I can hear him also. I can hear him.
Okay. I'll try as much as I can to be very audible. Okay. Oh, I'll try as much as I can to be very audible. Right? So as I said, this sum function, what it does is actually perform the actual addition. Okay. So when we pass in strings, this string here, okay, it cannot perform that addition. Okay. So that's why if we execute this, we have an error here saying unsupported operand. Okay. So it cannot perform that addition. But if we go ahead and apply the sum to list of numbers there, okay, it's to perform the actual addition there. So if you do list of numbers and then we execute this, we have 58 right here. Let me clear this and we run it again. So let me run that again. We have 58 there. That's because if we sum up all the numbers here in this list, that should give us 58 there. Okay, so that's that with the sum function. Now we move to the min function. Okay, this function here, it returns the minimum item in the list. Okay, so all right, and the max, okay, also return the maximum item in the list. All right, so we're going to run those two functions and see what happens. Okay, so we change this other function here to max. Okay, we change it to max. All right. Note, we'll be doing this first for this list, okay, and then we'll do it again for the other list, okay, because there's something I want to explain for us, okay. This function works separately when it comes to string, like it works separately, right? I will explain that. So now if we run this function, okay, what we should expect is 34, because if we look through this list, 34 is actually the highest number there in that list. All right, so let's just run that and see, and then we have 34. There it is. Okay, so same thing with the mean. Okay, the mean is like the opposite of max. It's return the lowest value in a list. Okay, return the lowest value in a list. If you look at this list now, the lowest value here, I believe you can guess it, is 6. All right, so if we execute this, we should have 6. All right, so that is it. That is just it. Okay, so all right, so let's.
Can I ask, please?
All right, question.
This was similar to what you did last week, but I think it did not run like this.
Yes, I know where we are getting there. We are getting what I did here was for the numbers, right? So I'm not going to perform this same action with the string, okay? And why it didn't run last week, like I said, someone in our class, I can't remember her name right now, but and shared her thoughts with me, and she had a point, okay, and it was actually correct, okay. But I'll share the thoughts with us, and we understand how the min and the max works when it comes to list of strings, okay. So we're going to do that right away. Okay. So we are going to perform a min on a sample list, all right? On a sample list. We're going to perform a min on this sample list, all right? So in Python, okay, the way Python sort, should I say, the way Python regards strings, okay, is it when Python goes through this list, okay, it does not consider the length of each of these things, okay. It does not determine the min or the max of this, okay, by the length of it. All right, so if you execute this, let's see what we have there. Right, sorry, give me a few minutes there. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry. Okay. I've actually misexplained. All right. What I was trying to explain is for sorts. All right. We are going for sorts later. We are going for sorts. So for the mean and the max, all right. For the mean and the max, when it comes to lists, when it comes to list of strings, okay, the minimum is actually the string with the lowest character, okay. So if we look through this, like if you look at this here, if you look at this here, all right, apple, okay, has 5 digits there, okay. Same thing with mango, right? Then pineapple, okay, it's not even there, right? When it comes to the mean, when it comes to mean. So now what you're having, we are having mango and apple, all right? We're having mango and apple, which both of them has 4 characters, right? So now, when this kind of thing happens, okay, how does Python determine which of these is the mean? Okay, it doesn't take the first one, all right? What it does is that's where it looks at these 2 words, okay? If you are looking at the alphabet, right? An alphabet, A actually comes before M. So that's if these words are the same, like if they have the same character, the same number of character, right? Then Python will go ahead and check, okay, which of these words actually which of this letter or character comes first in the alphabet, right? So now apple, A here, okay, comes first before M. So that's why we're having the mean here as apple, not actually mango, okay? Same thing with max. Max is strings with the highest number of character. And I think that is strawberry there. So if we save this and run this again, we have apple and strawberry being apple being the mean and strawberry being the max, okay? I believe that was understood. Okay, so I think we move to sorting, so we understand even better. All right, so there are several list methods. Okay, but there are several list methods. Okay, but this is just few of them. Okay, so if you go and learn and search for Python list methods, you have many of them. Okay, so we can't actually talk about all of them. Okay, so we just pick the few useful ones that come in handy, all right, during our day-to-day coding. All right, so the first one here, we did this in the last class. Okay, where we had issues was in this sort. All right, but I'll just run through all of them real quick. Okay, I'll run through all of them real quick. So the first one is append, and we already know what append does. So I'll comment on this for now. Probably I'll just cut it out for now. Okay. All right. So the way the append works is it adds whatever value you give to it to the H string of a list. Okay. So the way we actually append in Python, we first of all we call the list name. So we'll be appending to the sample list. So it will be the list name, that's sample list dot append. Okay, and then this append carries a value. Okay, we will give it a value. All right, so now what are we appending? Like what are we adding to the list? Okay, so we are adding, let's say, a new fruit. Or a new fruit. Let's say which other fruits can I think? Banana. Okay, banana. All right, so we add banana. So now if we go ahead and print out our sample list, we should have banana added to the H string of that list. Okay, the H string of the list. So if we execute this, we have banana added to the H string of our list. Okay, that's what append does. It adds whatever value you give to it to the extreme end of the list. That's what append does. So the next one is sort. Okay, this was where we had a problem. Sort. Okay, so I'll take my time and explain the sorting well, how sorting works in with strings. So first of all, we'll perform the sort on the list of numbers, okay? Because when it comes to numbers, it's pretty straightforward, okay? Very straightforward in Python. So we do list of numbers dot sort, okay? Dot sort. It will arrange this list in ascending order, all right? So if you go ahead and execute this, I think I'm doing it in the wrong way. Right? Okay, sorry, I'm printing the sample list. I should be printing the list of numbers, not sample list. Okay. List numbers, okay. All right, so okay, there it is. It has sorted that list in ascending order. That's from the smallest number to the highest number, okay? From smallest number to the highest number. So, okay, now sorting in a list of strings, okay, works separately, like it works differently, okay? So now in Python, let's assume, okay, all right, so let me take this off. All right, so let's assume we have a string, okay, a string of, let's say hello, oh sorry, let me spell out hello Python, hello Python program. How are you? All right, so the way Python works, all right, when it comes to sorting of strings, okay, it sorts it in kind of like a dictionary order, all right. If you look at our dictionary, like our day-to-day dictionary, okay, the way they arrange words there are, let's say we have a word like a comes first before AB, probably BA and then BB and so sorry, I think I'm writing it on one line, and then we have like BA, and then we have like BP, and then we have like C, okay, and then CA, and so on and so forth, okay. That's how our dictionary is being arranged, okay. Same thing applies in Python, okay. If you look at this string here, okay, if you want to sort this word, like arrange this word in a dictionary way, okay, then we say that R will come first and then followed by hello, okay, and then followed by how, okay, because remember E actually comes before the O, okay, so the how will come under the hello, all right. So our next thing will be program and so on and so forth, and then Python, and then you come last, okay, Python, and then you come last, okay. If you want to sort this, arrange this, okay, same things happens here, right? Same thing happens here. Same thing happens here. So that if we write sample list, okay, if we write sample list, and then we do dot sort, and then we sort this list, okay. And then we print sample list, okay. Then we print sample list. Sorry, okay. Sample list, okay. And see, this list gets sorted from A to S, okay. So now the problem we had in our last class was this, all right? Was this? Let me show you this. Was we had one of the word there was in uppercase, like one of the character was in uppercase, okay, like the strawberry now. Let's assume we have S there, and then let's change the apple, the A here to caps A, and then we execute this and what happens, okay. Now, if you've noticed, if you are seeing this, let's see this. Now, the apple and the strawberry comes first, right? So in Python, in Python, in upper cases, the way upper cases are lesser than lower cases. Let me write that out. In Python, okay, in Python, let me comment this. All right, I said upper cases are considered like minimum, all right, and lower cases, and lower case, all right, is considered maximum, max, all right. So in other words, in other words, if you have two strings, a string of mango and string of apple, okay, string of apple, okay, in Python, this mango is greater than apple, in a sense that this apple starts with a capital letter, meaning it should come first. So okay, so even if you had a capital M here and a small a here, all right, by default the a should come first, all right. But no, in Python, once Python realized that any of this string here has an uppercase, okay, that string will be considered as the mean, okay, of that list, all right. So if we, let's say, if we print, let's do the mean of that list, all right. Let's do the mean. Let's print the mean of the list of this list, okay, and let's print the mean of this list, and we have apple. Why we're having apple? Because remember I said that upper cases are in Python are considered as the mean, okay. So we have two upper cases. We have apple and we have strawberry, okay. But then apple, all right, comes before a, okay, comes before s. So a will be considered as the mean of this list, and as well as when we do the marks of this, all right. So I'll copy this for the sake of laziness and paste, and then we do the marks of this, and we have pineapple because when we look at, we have mango and we have pineapple, all right. Since we're looking at the marks, okay, we're actually looking at the extreme one, okay, which one comes last actually. So the P comes before the M. There's someone raised his hand for question. Go ahead and ask your question.
Excuse me, sir. You
Okay.
said the mean and max function looks at the number of characters.
Okay.
So I don't think it does. I think it just looks at the first character.
So all right, okay, let's
Like,
see that. Okay.
It looks at the first character of the letter of each letter of each item in the string. Then when it now runs it, so if mango was like, if number of letters in mango was less than apple, it will still return apple. I don't know if you understand, sir.
Okay. So okay. Yeah, I understand this. Yeah, I understand what you just said. Okay. All right. So let me re-explain, all right? So now, okay, actually that was the student that actually made the research on this. The student that just spoke, all right? So we look at this list again. This list here. The string list of string, sample list. So let's say, all right. So okay, let's execute this first. Then okay, we have apple has the mean and then pineapple has the max, all right? So now let's increase apple. Let's just put a dummy string there, right? Let's put a dummy string there, all right? And then let's go ahead and run this code again and see what happens. that still comes out as that. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me print something. All right. So remember, I said that in Python, when we sort in Python, okay, that lower cases, like words that start with lowercase, all right, are seen as marks priority, like they're the marks, okay, so like they come behind at the end of the list, all right, and then words that start with an uppercase, all right, comes in front, all right. So if let's just print that list and see. So now you've seen the caps lock, those with uppercases comes forward, all right, and then those with lower cases go behind, all right, and then what then happens, right? So now, after the sorting, all right, after the upper cases have come behind, which are we have the A and we have the S there as uppercase, and then we have another one M as another one M and P as uppercase, and this one come behind and this other one comes in front. Okay, then after that, Python now we are like, okay, let's assume that we have other upper cases here. Let's say we have another one like I just put in any string here like cat, all right, non actually listen again, cat, and let's bring another one like fish with uppercase, like fish, okay, uppercase, and then so now we are having A there, and then we are having C, and then we are having F as uppercase, all right. So now, if we sort once we sort this list, these upper cases come front and the lower cases come behind, all right. So, but then even with the fact that the upper cases come in front, all right, Python will still go ahead and then look at this one. Okay, which alphabet comes before which one, all right, and then we arrange these upper cases here. We have A, C, F, and S. Okay, I believe that makes sense. Okay, so now if we, by the time the sorting is completed, we should have something like A, C, okay, F, and S, and M, and then P. Okay, so let's go ahead and comment this, put this out. I think. So let's run this and let's see. So now we see A comes forward. Okay, so now the upper cases now they come forward, all right, and then the lower cases go behind. But then A comes before C and C before F and F before S. Okay, so now when we perform the mean again, we perform this mean again. We say print the mean of sample list. Okay, so the mean of sample list. So now, like I said, in Python, the upper cases are considered as the lower, like the mean, and then the upper one are like the max. Okay, so sorry, and then the lower one are like the max. All right. So now, if you look at this our list, we have A there, we have which other uppercase we have? We have S there, we have C, and then we have F. Okay. So now, looking at this alphabet, right? Clearly, we see that A comes before any of these alphabets here. All right. So now, if we execute this, all right, Python will go ahead and print out the one that starts with the A, right? So and which in this case is this string of words here, right? So if we run this, all right, if we run this, we're having that word there, all right? If we're having that word there. Okay, we're having that word there, okay? So let's say that the A is not there, right? That this A is not there. Let's say this A is not there. And then we have something like a ball, all right? We caps lock, all right? We caps lock. All right. So now what we're having there now is S, C, and F, and as well as the B in caps lock, okay? And then we have the small m, and then we have the small p, okay? So now, remember I said that when it comes to list of strings, those with caps lock come after, like when Python sorts it, okay? Those with caps lock comes in front, and those with the lowercase goes behind, all right? And then after that, Python will now go ahead and check, all right? When you do the mean, now check, okay, those in the uppercase, which alphabet comes first, all right? So if you look at this, which one do you think will be the mean of this list? Which one do you guys think will be the mean of this list? If we look at this. Yeah. Go ahead and answer.
I think it should start from B.
B.
Yes.
Okay, so let's execute this. And
I'm taking S. It will start from S.
S.
You'll
Yeah.
start from ball. Like we'll start from B.
B. Okay, someone said S, someone said B. Okay. All right. So let's just run this. Let us run this and see. Okay. And then we have ball. So let me say it again. Let me explain it again. One more time. Please.
One, I don't want that.
Okay. All right. So let me explain this again. Okay. It's one more time. All right. So I said upper cases. Upper cases. Mean. Kind of like, should I say mean or should I say list? Okay, let me say list. Yes, list. Kind of like a list in this thing. And lower cases. Like the marks, all right? Like, should I say, what was should I use there? Let us use marks for now. All right. So I said that assuming in this string, okay, in this list of string we have here, okay. Let's cut out this sorting. All right. Take out this sort, all right. Look at that sort there. So I said that in Python, words that begin with upper cases are considered as mean, like they come in front, right? They come in front. Like take for instance this list, all right? 6 now is considered the mean of this, and then 34. So 6 will come in front, 8 comes in front, and 10 and then 34. Same thing with string. Those words that start with upper cases, all right? They come in front, all right? So now we have few words there with upper cases: the ball, the straw, the cat, and then the fish, all right? So now if we want to write them out here, right? We have the fish there. We have the fish. We have the cat in upper cases, all right? We have the strawberry there, all right? Strawberry there. And then we have the ball, all right? Then we have the ball there. Oh, sorry, ball. All right, so those are words that we have in this list that starts with upper cases, all right? So I said that these words, this kind of words, all right, will come first if we sort this list because they are considered as the least words because they start with upper cases, all right? But then, all right, okay, so let's assume that we have something like this, and then mango comes, all right? Mango come there because that one starts with lowercase, and then pineapple there comes last. Pineapple, right? Okay, then if you look at the other one too, it's not still arranged because B here in the alphabet, B comes before F, all right? So by default, the B should actually come here, all right? So even if we had something like, okay, let's say we have something like apple here again, all right? Let's bring in the apple here with lowercase, all right? Lowercase, all right? This apple, all right, cannot come above this ball, all right? That apple cannot come above that ball because this apple to Python is bigger than the ball because this apple starts with a lowercase. So this apple will come under this ball here, all right? Will come under this ball, all right? Under that ball, all right? And this ball, all right, will not go below this apple because the apple is bigger than the ball when it comes to Python, all right? So now, then you can say, okay, like this up part there is category. Okay, let's say we can call this up part, all right? We can call this up part the uppercase category, all right? Okay, I think this way we understand. The uppercase category, all right? And the other one, the lowercase. Okay, I think I'm doing it wrong. The lowercase category. Lowercase, all right? So now, okay, so those are the two categories we have here, all right? Those are the two categories we have here. Let me write this out here. And then 3, and then 4, okay? So same thing here, right? 1, okay, 1, and then 2, and then 3, all right? Okay, so let's look at this list, all right, as two categories, the uppercase category and the lowercase category, okay? So now, having in mind that the lowercase category will come first, sorry, the uppercase category will come first, and then the lowercase category will come last, all right? If they are mixed, all right? If they are mixed, all right? So now we're having these two categories here, all right? And then having in mind that this category will come first, and then this category will come last, all right? So now inside this category now, all right, Python will now sort again, okay, sort again inside this category of uppercase, all right? So now, if you look at this category here, all right, so now which one comes first, like which word, okay, when it comes to like the alphabet, which character comes first, all right? If you look at the ball, all right, should actually come before this cat here, right? And then fish actually should actually come under the cat, okay, all right? So if we rearrange this, category, right, we have something like ball, cat, fish, okay, and then strawberry, all right, and then strawberry, okay. So now that's for the uppercase category, all right. So now for the lowercase category, all right. Now Python we also look at this words here, right? And then which letter in the alphabet comes first, all right? So if clearly this other one here is being arranged already, all right? So now since this list is a combination of both of them, all right? Since this list is a combination of both of them, of both the lowercase and uppercase kinds of words, all right? So now the uppercase will come first and then followed by the lowercase, all right? So when we sort this list, what we should be seeing here is what we should be seeing now is something like this: ball, all right, and then cat, all right, sorry, comma, not dot, and then cat, all right, and then fish, and then strawberry. Okay, now the lowercase will now follow up, right? And then we have apple. Okay. And then we have mango. And then we have pineapple being the last. All right. So now when we now say, okay, when we now say the mean of this, all right? The mean of, so now this what we'll have when we sort this, all right? So now when we say the mean of this, all right? What's wrong with this? When we say the mean of this, what do you think is the mean in this sorted list here? Which word do you think is the mean in this sorted word there?
Ball.
That would be the ball, yeah, the ball. Now I get. Then if
That
you're
would be the
doing
ball.
mass, pineapple comes first. Okay.
Pineapple comes last.
No, if you're doing mass, what if you're doing mass?
Max, pineapple, yes. Pineapple comes last.
Yes. I got it now. Thank you very much for
Okay.
the clarification, sir.
So I believe the whole max and mean thing with the mixed up string stuff is understood, right? Please, does anyone has question? I'll run this code and then we'll see if that is correct, right? So I'll go ahead and print the mean of this thing. That sample is there, okay? Sample list. Okay, so for the sake of laziness, I'll just copy. Okay, I think you say already stuff. Not showing up. Okay, so I'll just change this to max. Okay, and then we go ahead and add apple here. All right, the string of that list. Okay, small in lowercase. Okay, apple. All right, so let's see if that's what we have. Okay, so we have ball and have pineapple there. Please, is there question pertaining to that? I believe that is understood. Okay. So okay, let's assume, okay, let's assume we have this kind of okay, let's say a strings of list of names. Okay, so let's say names. All right, I'll bring a couple of names there. Let's see if we let me see you guys. So I'll bring in, I'll use my name again. Sorry. Okay, so I'll bring in John. Okay, I'll bring in author. All right, I believe that's okay. No, author, and I'll bring in right Polly. Okay, and I'll bring in right one last name, Shelby. These names I got them from somewhere, from a movie. All right, so okay, look at this list. All right, which one is the mean and which one is the max? Look at this list here.
Author is the main and Shelby is the max.
The Shelby is the max and author they being the mean. Okay, so all right, so let's just see that. Okay. And then we and then Shelby is the max. Okay, that was correct. So okay, so let's say we have something like this capital S. Okay, so now which one is the mean and which one is the max?
Shelby is the mean and Savior should be the max.
Any other person with different contribution to that?
Shelby is the main. Savior is the max.
All right, so let's execute this and see. Okay, so that is it. All right, that is that. Okay, so I believe that was our confusion in the last class has been cleared. All right. So I believe we've understood everything we've done so far today, right?
Yes, we are cool now.
All right. So
You're cool. Thank you.
okay. Okay. That took time. That took a lot of time. All right. So let's okay. We have other methods. Okay. We have other methods here. All right. So we did this in the last class, but I'll just run this again real quick. So we have the count method. All right. So what the count method does, it returns the number of times. Return the number of times a particular value has occurred in a list. All right. So I'll take this out for now. We still maintain our list. So we'll be working with this other list, the list numbers. So I'll add in a couple of numbers there. That should do. Okay, that should do. So now if I say lists, okay, of numbers, right? That's a list of numbers, and then I perform the counts function on it, right? I perform the count function on it. I perform the count function on it. So now I want to check how many times has 3 repeated in that list, right? So I put in 3 there. Let me assign this to a variable so you can actually output this. So I bind it to a variable x, and then let's print x. Let's print x, okay? Let's see how many times that 3. We're having 3 because 3 itself has repeated 1 time, a second time, and then the last time here, making it the 3rd time, right? So if you put in 10 there, let's just see 10. So if you put in 10 there, and then we execute, we have 2 because 10 has repeated twice in this list. We have the first 10, and then we have the second 10 here. We can do the same for strings, right? We can actually search for John. This is for John, okay? This is for John. This is for John, not in numbers this time around, but this is for John in names, all right? In our list of names. And then we see that John repeat once. Okay, so if you add another John here, it will tell us twice. Okay, if you add another John, it will tell us twice. All right, so that's that for that. Okay, so we look at another one, the index, right? The index. Let's see what the index does. The index, what it does is it returns the index of a particular value. Okay, so if we say the index of this of John, okay, we are saying what this means. It means where in list of names is John situated. All right, where is it located? So now remember, by default list start from 0, right? So this is index 0 and this is index 1. Okay, all right. So if there was another John, right? So if, but let's just run this first and see. So that should return 1 for us. Okay, that return 1 for us because that's where John is located in this list. We have index 0 and index 1. All right. So now if there was another John here, all right, if there was another John here, right, Python will still return 1 for us because this function here only returns the index of the first occurrence of this value. So where was John first? Like, where did John first exist on this list? So it didn't exist here. It didn't exist. Okay, it existed here. All right. So this is his first occurrence on that list there. On that list there. This is the first occurrence. Okay. So it won't actually tell us the index of the other one. All right. So that's that for the index. Okay.
So I have a question.
Okay. What's the question?
So what happens if we want to know the positions John is occupying aside from the first occurrence? Like you want to, okay, fine. Okay, let's say we first want the code name does the count, and we notice that John is appearing twice in the string or whatever it is appearing in. and I want to know the positions of John aside from the first occurrence. Is there no way to get that?
Okay. So, all right. Okay. For the count, what the count does, the count does not actually return the position, right? It actually counts how many times it's repeated, right? So, let's say you wanted to know how many, like all the indexes, all right, of John, all right. What we would do since this gives us the only the first occurrence, what we can do is we can actually loop, okay? We can actually look through this list if you remember how we did that, all right? So we can look through this list. There's something like 4, all right? Remember a variable name there, so I'll just use I there, all right? So I'll not use in range because I don't want to hard code how many elements is there, all right? So I can say for I in range, all right? So I won't actually hard code that number. So what I'll do is I'll use len because this will always give us the exact elements there, right? So I'll do len of that number, all right? Len of that number. But remember, this will give us, okay, let me just show you what I mean. If we do this, all right, if we do print I, remember, once a loop starts, all right, Python assigns a number to that variable. So if I print I there, right, I'll just show you what this will do. Let me cut this out. Okay. And then I execute this, okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that's not what we want, all right? We don't want that. So what we want is I can do the other loop, all right? Remember the loop is 2, we can do the other loop for I in name itself, all right? So this will actually give us the actual values there, all right? So now what we can do now, okay, is to check, all right, that if, all right, I itself, all right, I is equals to John. If I is equals to John, all right, what we want to do is to get the input of this one, right, of John, all right. So remember, how do we get the index of a particular how do we get the index of an item, all right? So we do name, all right, that's the list itself dot index, okay, of dot index, all right, of I. Know that I is equals to John, okay? I is equals to John, all right? And then what we want to do is we want to print. Okay, so let's assign this to a variable x, all right? And then we'll go ahead and print that x, all right? This way we get all the index of, okay. So if I execute this, we're having 1 and 1. No, we shouldn't be having 1 and 1. We're having 1 and 1. Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, so okay, I know what the problem is, all right. So now what the problem here is the first index here is 1, right? So now when this happens, here becomes 1. Okay, but then that other index there. Index there. Right, let me run this for you. Let me run this and see. 1 and 1. All right, so let me print I am. All right. Yeah, a minute. Let's see. All right, so what you want to do is let's say we'll bring in something like a new variable outside that loop, okay? So we'll call this variable index, okay? Index J, that's meaning index of John, J, okay? And then we initialize an empty list there. And then what we would do is each time, okay, each time we have I equals to John, we want to append, so they go this way. We want to append this into that list, right? We want to do index J dot append. We just use this few minutes ago. Now, what are we appending? I want to append the index itself here, right? So now I'm appending X there, right? I'm appending X there. So let me clean this out and let me see. Let me see if this works. So I go outside the loop and print index of J. Okay. Let's see what we have. We still have 1 and 1. Why are we having 1 and 1? All right, so all right. Let me compare. Let me print. Let me go ahead and print name of index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's 6 index. Okay. Oh,
It's 5, so not 6.
So, yeah, I just did that 5. Okay, so let's save this. Let me cut this out for now. I'll bring it back. And it's done. So we're having 1 and 5. All right. All right. So let's use the other loop. So let's use in range. All right. Let's use in range. And then we don't want to hard code the number there. So we use the length of name. Okay. And then what we want to, okay, now what we want to check, all right? What we want to check, all right? I think this way will work. This way will work. So this way will work. All right. So now what we are going to check now is if, all right. Remember, I said something like remember if you print something like this, all right? If you print this, let's say you print, if you can remember, if you print name, okay, name of I, of index I. Remember, this is range, all right? And the way range work, once we use range, Python automatically assigns a number to that I, all right? And by default, it starts from 0. Okay, so I'll cut this out, and I'll cut these other ones out. All right. Okay, so if I print this, let's say we have the entire list there. Okay. So now, what we want to check for now is we want to check if, okay, this. Want to check if this, all right, is equals to John. This will work, all right? It's equal to John. Okay, and then we want to actually print. We want to actually print the I itself, all right? The I itself. That's the index, all right? We should have more of this. All right, so that is it. We have 1 and 5. Okay, so let me explain that code just for those that don't really understand what that code does. All right, so now the question was, how do we get? Now the question was, all right, since the index function returns, like if we do x, all right, equals to name dot name dot index, okay, index of John, all right, of John. All right, and then we go ahead and print this x. Okay, if you print this x, all right, what happens here is this will only print the first occurrence of John. All right, so the question was, how do we get other index for John? Like here we have another John here. All right, so now we can look through this entire list, which that's what we did here. And then we did not hard code the number of how many items is there. All right, so we use the len function so that you can actually have the exact number of items there. All right, and then we look through it. All right, so now if we do And remember, I said that once we use the range function, all right, once Python see a range function in a loop, all right, it assigns a number to this variable here, all right. By default, that number is 0, except we specify the starting, all right, the starting of this range. So that if added 1 there, all right, so this number here will be 1, all right. But since we not specify that starting value, all right, by default that number there is 0, all right. And if you look at this number here, increases each time we move to the element of this loop. Okay, each time we move to each element here, this number increases, all right, and that's what we want. Okay, so now if we do remember to print the item, we use indexing to print the item, something like this. If you remember, write the list name, okay, and then square brackets and then the index, all right. If it's 2, okay, so whatever is index 2 of the name of this list name will get printed out, all right. So the same thing is happening here, all right. Same thing is happening here. This same thing here is happening here, all right. But here we are doing it dynamically, all right, because as the loops go through each element here, this number here increases, all right. So now once this loop starts, all right, I here is 0, all right. So here what I'm actually saying is the what I'm saying is the item that is index 0, because here I is 0, remember, right? I is 0. So here now you're having name of index 0. Okay. So now I'm saying is if what item is in index 0, is it equal to the string word John? Okay, if it's equal to the string word John, all right, want to print I, meaning want to print that index here, all right. So that is what that code does. Okay, so now if you run this one more time, we have 1 and 5. So even if you go ahead and add more John, so let's just copy and add more John. That okay. Go ahead and add John here. Okay. Go ahead and add another John there, all right, and execute this. We have 1, 3, and 6, all right, because that is 0, 1, that's the first John, and then 2, and then 3, that's the second John, 4, 5, and then 6, that's the last John. Is there a question with that? I believe I've answered your question, the person that asked that question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is there any other person that have confusion with this code? Okay, so I believe the code is understood. All right, so now another one is index. All right, okay, I think finish with index, right? So the next one is reverse. All right, and as its name sounds, it doesn't do anything much than to reverse the list. All right, so if you do name dot reverse, all right, dot reverse, all right, the reverse does not take any argument. Okay, it's a function, it doesn't take any argument, and then we go ahead and then we print name again. We go ahead and print name, and I'll just print name again before that reverse. All right, so we should have 2 lists there. So now this was the list before the reverse, and then the list after the reverse. All right, if you see, it brings this John to the first part of the list, and then the Shelby here, and then Polly here, and so on and so forth. So that's what the list does. It reverses the list, all right, from that's in descending order, right, from the bottom to the top, okay, of the list.
Can I ask, sir?
Okay, what's the question?
So now, if it is reversing, why will you need to print the 2 lists? Why not just reversing it and printing it just once?
Okay, actually, I wanted to show you the list before it was reversed and the list after it was reversed, right? So I can take this off, so, and it will still work, right?
I think I get it.
Okay. So any other question? Okay, so now the next one is remove. Okay, this one is remove. The remove is almost like the index. All right, remember the index return the first, sorry, the count. The count return the sorry, not the index returns the first occurrence. The same thing with remove. What remove does, they remove the first occurrence of a particular value. Okay, so if I say name.remove, okay, name.remove, all right, I remove John. Okay, from removing John, all right, and then it will remove the first occurrence of this value here, which is this John here, all right. So by the time we print this list, all right, we should be, what we should be saying is savior author without John there, okay. So and then we have, there it is, savior author without the John, okay. So now if you want to remove all the John, all right, we could just write the other, almost like the semicolon, right? But this time, instead of printing it, we just be removing the John itself, okay? So it's almost like the other code, all right, that we did. But this time around, we will be removing, not actually printing the index, removing the John itself. So that's the remove function. And next one is pop, all right? So now the pop, what it does, it removes the item at index P and return the value, all right? So what that means, all right? So if I say pop, all right, if I say name.pop, all right, name.pop, and I say, and I put in 3 there, all right? 2 minutes, let me check that again. Okay, so if I say pop, all right, and then I put in 3 there, okay? What this thing means is, in this loop, sorry, in this list, go to index 3, all right? This value here is always indexed, all right? It's always indexed, all right? So index 3. So when I put in 3 there, okay? When I put in 3 there, means go to index 3, that is index 0, index 1, index 2, and index 3. And then remove this. Like remove it, all right? Like, so even the other one was name.remove, okay? And this other one, this other one does not text in index, it takes in value itself, okay? While this other one takes in the index, all right? And this other one actually remove the first occurrence, but this other one, the pop, we can specify, okay, which particular one are we removing, all right? So if I say index 3 and execute this, we should not see this second John. We should not see a second John again, it should be gone. Okay, so we have the second John is gone. Okay, if you say Savior John author, and then this John is gone, and then you have Polish Shelby and last John there. So that's what the pop does. It removes the value at this index, at whatever index we specify there. So if we say 2, it will just go to index 2 and move whatever value is there or item is there on that list. Okay. So next one is insect,
I need clarification, sir. Sorry, sir. I just want to clarify. If we use remove John, is it going to remove just one John or all the John?
Okay, it will remove the first John.
The first John.
Yes, the very first John. Okay.
But this pop removes the index of the number stated in front.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So the other one is, the last one there we are talking is insect, okay? It means insert the value X at index P of the list, all right? So let's just do it practically. I think we understand better practically, okay? So now, this insect carries text in 2 arguments, okay? The insect or insects. Let me confirm that. Okay. No S. All right. So this one takes in 2 arguments, all right? The first argument is the value. Okay, so what are we inserting? And then the second one is the index. Where are we inserting? Okay. So now the value, what are we inserting? Then the index is where are we inserting? So now in the name list, I want to insert a new name, Alfred. Okay. Let me Solomon Alfred. Okay. Maybe I just use Alfred. And I want to insert it at index 1. Okay. At index 1. Let's execute this and see. Sorry. Let me see this. Let me look at this again. Sorry, I think I've missed intent. Sorry, the value comes before the index. So it is actually, it's actually index and then value, okay? And then value. So the value we're inserting here is Alfred, all right? Alfred. And then we're inserting it at index 1, okay? And let's run this, and then we see it's gone. So now this does not, if notice, this John was at index 1. What happens is that Alfred has replaced John, pushing the list backward, meaning John now becomes the index 2, author index 3, and so on and so forth. I don't even understand what I mean. What this thing does here, okay? It comes to index 1, okay? So this index 0 and this index 1, all right? So there's actually a value there, okay? There's a value there, John, all right? What this thing, what it does now will to push this John to index 2, all right, and occupy that space. So what we have here will be something like this, something like this. So what we have here will be Alfred here, okay? We have Alfred there, and then John, making this Alfred index 1 and making John index 2. Okay, I believe if you guys understand that. Is there any question with that?
So I have a question. What if we want to replace the way you shifted, John was shifted to the back? What if you want, maybe there was a name change and you want to replace Alfred with John, and you don't want John to show there again? What can we use?
Okay, we can do this manually. Okay, so now let me remove this and let me run this code with our Alfred is not there. All right. So now I want to replace that Alfred. Okay, I don't want to shift the list. Right? That's the question. Okay. So now what we would do is
I want to replace Alfred with Smith.
Okay, what to replace Alfred with Smith. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
all right. So now what we want to do now is select the index. All right. Now Alfred is at index 1, right? That is at index 1. So if we do something like this, if we do name of index 1, okay, this will give us Alfred, right? If you print this will give us Alfred. So now we can assign that particular index to a new value, Smith, okay? Smith, and when we execute this, Alfred will be replaced with Smith, and then the Smith there. Understood?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, bye. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so let me check something here. Okay. Okay, the string has what we call the replace method, but this list does not have the replace method. We have actually replace there, but okay, so now we move to the next content in this slide. This slide is too much. Okay, so now we're having this one is making copy of list. Okay, making copy of list. How do we actually, because at times we might actually want to make copy of a list. Okay, we might actually want to make copy of a list. Let's say we have this list here, right? Let's say we have this list here. We have sample list, we have list numbers, and then we have name there. Okay, so now we want to, okay, probably we are writing a code that in the down the line might actually require us to probably reassign this name to another list. Okay, so like we assign this name value to another list, and we don't want to lose the content of this name currently. All right, how do we actually make copy of this list? All right, so now what we would do, okay, would be to do something like this. do something like this. Okay, let's say when I'm bringing a new variable copy, all right, copy of the list name, all right, and then we do something like name equals name, right? That's what we would do. Okay, so now if we go ahead and print this, if we print copy name, okay, that's the new variable we've assigned the name to. Okay, let me cut this and come right above here and paste. All right, we should have the same list if you run this. I found made a mistake. Okay, it's a small c, not a big C. Okay, and then so now we're having the same list here. Okay, we're having the same list here. But then see what happens. All right, see what happens. When we try to change, probably along the line, we want to change a particular item. Let's say item at index 0. Okay, we want to change it to, okay, you don't want it to be saved again, you want it to be Will, okay, or William. Okay, let us say William. All right, so now let's say one that to be Williams. Okay, if we execute this, all right, remember the list we copied is altered, right? We copied this list, which should have Savior, all right, in this second list, but we also have William here, right? But that wasn't what we wanted, right? We wanted to keep this original list, all right, this original list here, okay, and then make changes to this list, and then we still have another list that has Savior as the first index, all right? But then when we did this, and then we now changed this, both lists were altered, but that wasn't what we wanted, all right? That takes us to mutability and immutability in Python, okay? If you remember during our string class, I said that string cannot be changed, all right? I said something like string, like in a string, like we can't change strings, all right? Okay, so I'll just explain that real quick, okay? Again, so now let's assume we have a string called, let's assume we have a string here called, let's say S, all right? Let's say S, and this string we have hello in this string, all right? What this thing means, all right? What this means to Python is some way, okay. Before that, okay, according to Python, all right, everything in Python sees everything as an object, right? Strings, be it strings, number, or list, right? Python sees them as objects, right? So now, when we do something like this, S equals to a string of hello world, right? What it means, okay? What Python does is Python creates an integer object, okay? It creates an integer object with the value hello world, okay? And then the variable S, okay, references that object, right? Okay, what this means, let me say it again in another way, is when Python sees something like this, okay, something like this, all right, or something like this, or even something like this, all right, what it does, it creates a memory, kind of like a space in our desktop, like in our Windows or in our laptop, okay? It creates a space in our laptop, an integer kind of object, okay? And then assign this value, all right, to that object, and S references that object. So now when we say S, when we actually print S, all right, we print whatever that object holds, all right? So now, if we say this, all right, so if we print S, all right, if we print S, let me make this easy for us. If we print S, we have hello, all right? But the way Python sees this, okay, this hello is stored somewhere, right? Somewhere in our system, all right? So if we go ahead, all right, and I'll introduce in a new keyword here. The ID keyword is used to know, the integer object of a variable. Okay, so if I do print, if I go ahead and print ID keyword of S, all right. If I print the ID keyword of S, all right, and then execute this. S is not okay, small s, not big S. Sorry, yes, small s. Okay, and then we run this. Now, what I see here, we are seeing numbers, all right? So this is the integer object, all right? This is what Python sees, all right? When we do this, Python sees this, all right? So this like a memory location somewhere in our system, that integer there, right? If we do the same thing with, look, let's say ID of name, and then run this. You have another one. Okay, so that to be sure that we're not repeating that number, all right? To be sure not repeating that number, we will copy this and paste, and then we do it one for name and then one for S. Okay, and then one for S. Now we see we're having separate numbers there, all right? That's memory location somewhere in our system, all right? So now I said that string cannot be changed, all right? I said that string can't be changed, meaning what that means, that strings is immutable. I think let me find that with immutability of strings. Okay, there I said Python strings are immutable. There it is. Python strings are immutable, which means we cannot modify any part of them. All right. So now what that grammar there means was that, look at this, our string here, hello. All right. It's in this memory location. I'll copy this memory location right here. All right. I'll copy that memory location, and then I'll paste it there. All right. And then I'll just print this multiple times to be sure that that location does not change. All right. And then we execute this, we still have the same location, right? So now, the moment we tamper with this string, probably we add one more letter, like, or anything to that string. Let me say an exclamation mark, hello, okay? See what happens. Now, this was the memory that this string was set, right? And then we've changed that string, and then we run this. Now, look at this memory location, all right, and this other memory location. They are the same. Sorry, they are not the same. They are not the same, right? So now you see it's different from the other one. That means that Python cannot, that strings, we can't modify a string and still maintain its location, all right? Its memory location. That's what it means by string is immutable. Like, we can't tamper with the string. Okay, once we change this string, all right, once we add another thing to this string, what Python does is it creates a new memory location for that string. So that string now is like a new string, like a new variable, a new string, all right, like a new string. So now if I add another exclamation mark here and run this again, another memory location, Python creates another one. I just copy one of this, all right, and another one, all right. Different memory location, all right. That's one thing about string. We can modify them and retain its location, all right. So now, but when it comes to list is immutable. We can change lists, like we can change an element in a list and still maintain its location. Okay, so that's why when we did, so now, okay, let's say, let me print the ID, all right, the ID of this list and show you, right? Let me print the ID of name, okay? Sorry, ID of name, ID of name. All right, we print the ID of name, and then let me cut this out for now. I'll just repeat this again, all right, to be sure that that location remains the same, all right? So now we execute this. So now that list is currently stored in a location somewhere in our memory as this, all right, 25 bunch of integers there, all right. So now let's edit this list, all right. Let's tamper with this list. And then let's change the first element here to William, all right, and see if Python will actually change that memory location for the list. Okay, so once we run this code, the first, I just put empty print there so you can see a little space in there. Okay. So now when we execute this code, this first one will be the memory location before the list was modified, right? And the other ones will be the one after the modification, all right? So now let's see if that changes, all right? So if I execute this, we see when it comes to lists, the memory does not change. If you notice, it was here when before modification and it's still here after modification. All right. So for that reason, all right, when we did this, okay, when we modified this, when we said copy name is equals to copy, all right, that is assigning this name to this name, and then we changed this, it also affected this one, all right, was because, like I said, this name, right, the name is referencing a specific bunch of numbers, all right? And then when we now said copy, all right, and assign it to name, it means also reference the same location, okay? Sorry, the same location that name is referencing, okay, that this name references, all right? That's what it means, all right? So that way, when we change the value of this, it means we've changed the value for both of them, all right? I believe that is understood. So now, this memory location now holds this list for us, all right? And the other memory location now holds the same list for us, all right? Okay, so now, once we edit this location, all right, it affects this location as well because they are actually the same memory location, all right? So now, how do we actually copy a list and so that when we edit one part of our list, it doesn't affect the other part of the list, okay? That's what, someone has a question. Okay, please, what's up? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So, you said that, like, this is your variable name. You said that if you change it, that the memory location is equally going to change, right?
Yes.
And it's also going to affect this copy. So what if we now pick this, since you have given the same value to this copy, what if you now pick the copying out now and change the value of copy? Will it equally affect name?
Yes, it will affect them because both of them is actually pointing to the same memory location, all right? So if I print both of them out now, all right, let me print both of them out and there you see. Okay. So if I print out the name and then I print out the copy name, all right? Okay. So you see, it affected both of them. It affected both of them. This change here affected both of them. Okay. So it will affect, okay? It will affect. As far as this is a list, it will affect, all right? So list location does not change, like even if we change its content. But string, once we tamper with a string, Python deletes that space out and create a new space, all right? So that's a different. So probably you've heard of when someone said that string is immutable. That's what they meant, that you can't change the strings and maintain its location, okay? Once you tamper with the string, the location changes as well, right? But it's different for list. That's why in a string, okay? That's why in a string, we can do something like this, all right? We can do something like hello. We can do something like hello, all right? And then now say copy of S, all right? Copy of S is equals to S, okay? So S, and then you can now change this S to something else like hi, okay, like hi. So now if I go ahead and print the S out, and whether the copy of S, I will copy this and paste for it. Okay, copy of S, okay. Then we see that in string is different, all right. We still maintain, okay. You see, this doesn't change, all right. If it is, it doesn't affect the copy S, all right. It doesn't affect the copy S, because the moment we tempered with the S here, all right, we change the value of S to high, all right. This other copy already was referencing, okay, let me say, let me put it there. Now this S is saved in memory location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right, assuming that, all right. And then copy S means also reference where S is referencing, all right, and S referencing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right. So remember that in string, once we temper with string, the location change, all right. So now once we temper, now we now change the location from 1, 2, 3, 5 to 4, 5, 4, 5, 5, right. So now this here is, so now this S now is no more referencing, it's no more pointing at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right. It's now pointing at here, all right. But this copy still holds this location, so this hello is still valid until probably we temper with that copy S as well. Then this location will be gone, and then the word hello will be gone as well, all right. So now we can't do the same, like, so for this reason we can't do that with the list, because each time we change that, it will affect the copy as well. So how do we actually copy a list in Python? We can do this. This is how we copy a list in Python. The list name and then brackets open and close with a colon in it, all right. That's how we actually copy list in Python. So if we change this to name, okay, open and close with colon in it, and then we edit name, okay, and then we print out name here and copy name and copy name, all right, and then we execute. Now you've seen, all right, that the copy name actually maintains our original list, and then the updating we did only affected this list and not this other one, I believe. Okay, about getting the slide. Okay, okay, sorry, I didn't actually ask for that, but I'll get back to you guys this evening. Once this class ends, I'll drop it at the Slack channel, and I'll let you know if I can share the slide or not. If it's possible to share the slide, then you'll find all the slide in the channel, and then you guys can download it. Okay. This have skipped my mind. Sorry about that, but I'll do that as soon as I can. All right. So now changing, how do you actually change items in a list? All right. So we've actually changed. Okay, we've actually done some changes before now, like when we change the value of this, when we change the value of William, right? This is one method of changing an item in a list. Okay, you target the index and then assign a value to it, all right? That's one way of doing that. So there's another way of doing this. There's another way of doing this, all right? So now let's say you wanted to insert the value 100 in a location 2 without actually overriding, all right? That overriding, okay? So that was what we did with the insert when we actually inserted Alfred here, all right? Without actually changing which value was there in that index, all right? So we use the insert. The insert will actually push the list forward and then insert your value there, okay? So we did that, and then the other one is actually deleting, all right? Deleting, okay, an entry from a list, all right? So let's see how the delete works, all right? Let's see how delete works. So I'll cut this out. And then we say del, okay? Want to delete the first in, okay, want to delete Alfred there, all right? Want to delete Alfred there. Let's see. I think, all right. This takes an argument of this name, okay? So want to delete name. And then we print out our name. So when we print this, okay, when we print this, the name Alfred should no longer be there. Should no longer be there. So let us run this and see. And then you see Alfred is gone. Okay, Alfred is gone. After Savior was Alfred, but this del, okay, the del keyword remove, actually delete an element. Or should I say an item from a list when you specify, okay, with the specified index there. All right, so all right, we have the split and the join. Question?
Can you please take it again? Delete, I beg.
Okay, delete. All right, so let's take delete again. So what I said, the delete, what the delete does is it takes an argument, all right? The argument will be the index of the list which you wish to delete, all right? So now here we said in the list of name, index 1, okay? If you look at this index, this index 0 and this index 1, okay? Del, all right? Delete it, all right? Delete it, all right? And then say when we print this list, when we print that list, Alfred is no longer there. It has been removed from that list. All right. So now we have Savior, Alfred is gone, and then John, Arthur, John, Polly, and Shelby. Okay. All right. So
okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. So now let's see if you can run this two real quick. You can run this two real quick. Split and join. All right. So now the split method. All right. What the split method does is it returns a list of words of string. The method assumes that words are separated by white spaces, which can either be space, tabbed, or new line character. Right. So let us see what that means in the actual practical of it. All right. Split. All right. So let me copy example there. Think of example there. All right. Oh, not example. Okay. Not this example. So we'll go ahead and paste it here. All right, so let's say we have a string of hello world. All right, we have a string of hello world. All right, how are you doing? All right, that's a string, right? That is typical string in Python. All right, so now if we perform something like x, all right, say x equals to s, all right, the string itself dot split, all right, dot split, all right, and we execute this and we go ahead and print out our x, all right. What this does is what happens there is it will convert this string of words to list, all right. All right, so making each of the word an element of that list. All right, so now hello will be an element in the list. What will be an element. How are you are doing? Okay, so if we run this, okay, so now you see what that means. So now you see what that does. All right, it takes up this entire string, okay, and then convert them to items on a list. All right, so that string there was hello world, how are you doing? All right, now it now becomes hello, now becomes an item. World now becomes an item. How now becomes an item. Are now becomes an item. You now becomes an item, and doing now becomes an item. So that's what the split does. Okay, it takes an argument. Sorry, it takes a string and converts it to a list. All right, that's the function of a split. Okay, that's the function of a split. All right. So, but at the same time, it takes in optional argument. All right. So now what split does is that once it sees spaces here, all right, it assumes that once it sees spaces, all right, it has grouped this word to be a word, like to be one item, and then this one another item, and then here's a space, all right, and then this one another item. But we can actually specify, okay, that you want the cut, like the splitting of the string to only happen because this splitting currently happens when Python comes across spacing. All right. So now by default, all right, by default. So now if I put a space between this word, like in the word, I put a space there, right? And then so what Python does, right? It's now groups WOR as one item and LD as another item. All right. So that what happens by default. Okay. It's split these words after each spacing. All right. So now, but you can actually specify how we want to split the word. All right. So now I can tell Python split the word only when we see dashes. All right. So now if I see so now if I go ahead and close this space and then come here and I put a dash there and a dash here. All right. See what happens then. Python now group this entire string hello world how are as one word, because we specify that we don't want to split this by spacing. All right, we want to split this when we see dashes. All right, so where we see dashes now are in between R and U, and then U and doing. All right, so now Python cuts out this whole place as one word, okay, as one item, and then this other one as one item, and then this other one as another item. All right.
Hello.
Is there a question? Okay. Question.
The function you explained concerning delete, I didn't get it quite.
Well, okay. Okay. Let me re-explain delete again. All right. So from the keyword del, all right, means delete. From the keyword del means del means delete. All right. So now what del does? Del takes in an argument. All right. It takes in an argument. That this argument is a list, like not like a list index. All right. How do we actually write a list index? All right. We first of all we specify the name of the list and then the index. All right. So index 1 now, okay, is this thing here means if we print this, all right, if we go ahead and print this, let's print this. If we print that, all right, if we print name of index 1, I'll call this one now, I'll bring them back. Name of index 1, I'll call the letter as well. The name of index 1 means print the item that is in index 1 of in the list called name. All right. So now if I run this, let me just back up. If I run this, it prints Alfred. All right. So that means if you look at this list called names, all right, we have index 1 and index 0 and index 1. All right. So now what the del does is it takes in that kind of argument. All right. It takes in that argument there, and then takes in that argument there, name, and then which index are we deleting? All right. Which index are we deleting? We want to delete index 1. All right. So now if you execute this, and sorry, that will not show anything. So if I go ahead and print name, go ahead and print name. All right. Go ahead and print name, and you see Alfred is gone. So now what the del does is it takes in an argument, an index, okay, of a list, and then deletes that index, remove that index from the list. All right. So now this one takes in an argument of index 1, which is Alfred, and then remove this Alfred from the list. All right. I believe I've answered that question. How?
Print it, let's see what you asked me to do.
Okay. So now this is the list currently. All right. So once we execute this, see, Alfred is no longer here. Alfred is gone. Okay, the Dell deleted that Alfred. It deleted the item that is index 1, which is Alfred. Okay, so we can choose another index. All right, we can choose like index 3. All right, and which will be which index? Okay. So I believe I've answered that question. All right.
What if we delete name, only name, and we didn't put any index there?
We
What are we
delete
gonna
name.
get? Yeah,
Okay.
we are doing new list.
Well, okay, to delete the entire list. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see what this will give us. But I think this should give us an error. I think. Okay. Name must be defined. Okay. But name actually defined here, but I don't know what name.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And like, I just want to ask that, what if we just assign name to another variable also? I mean, after deleting it, we just reassign it to another variable.
Okay. So what will happen is that, remember I said that when it comes to list is mutable, meaning like you can make changes and like make changes to them, okay, and they still retain their memory location, okay. So that once we assign this list to another variable and then delete the other list, the other variable will delete as well, okay. So if we, okay, so I think this worked, okay, I think this worked, all right, because this worked. So if we delete this, it's gone, all right, it's gone. So now why we had that error was we are trying to print what was detailed. So at this point, the name does not exist again. So when we run this, pattern after that name is not defined. So at this line here, the entire list is gone. Okay. So we can just put the entire list is gone, all right? Or we can just specify where exactly to delete, right? Or we can just put the entire list and everything is gone. All right. So that's why we're having that error there that name is not defined, because as at this line here, name is gone. So at this line here, Python cannot still name again. Okay. So about assigning this to another variable and then probably deleting it and see if it do exist. Okay, so we say copy name is equals to name. Okay, and then let's delete name and let's print copy name and see if copy name do exist. And it's so okay, it do exist. All right, so okay, so what happened is, all right, so what happened there is so we have name, all right, and we have copy name, right? Okay, so both of them are pointing to where a list that is stored in sorry, should I say in a memory space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, both of them are pointing to that direction. Remember, okay. So both of them are pointing to this direction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now when we deleted this, okay, it means the name is no longer there. All right. But then, all right, this copy name is still referencing that memory location. So it's still there. Okay, it's still there. Right. So the only thing that we can, the only difference is probably when we want to update. All right. If you update any of this, all right. So let me say this location was holding a list of, let's say, boy and girl, all right. Two of them, like both memory location we're holding the same thing there, boy and girl, all right. So since both of them are pointing to the same memory location, all right, pointing to the same memory location, once we edit for one, here we change as well. But if we delete this, okay, we delete this still has a still reference that location, all right. So that's why this copy name, all right, still exists after we might have deleted this name. I wish I could actually draw this thing in a very one. Okay, let me see. I wish it was how I can actually draw it. Okay, I think drawing makes a lot of sense. If I draw it, it makes a lot of sense. Is there a question there? I believe I've answered that question. That the question. The person that asked that question. I've answered your question. Oscar, go ahead and ask your question. Your hands up, Oscar.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me put my hand down. Sorry.
Okay, so the person that asked the question, I believe I've answered that question. Okay, and our time is up. Believe me, our time is up. So just look at the join, all right? Look at the join real quick, and then we call it a day, all right? So remember, the split takes up string and then turn it into list, all right? So now join is like the opposite of it, all right? Join is like the opposite of split, all right? It's a string method that takes a list of string and joins them to become a single string, all right? So let's see how this one works. So now look at our string, sample string, all right? Sample list, that list there, right? So now we can say that X is equals to sample list, all right? Sample list dot join, okay? And then when we print X, okay, so what it does is that it's what it does is it will remove all these items from the list and turn it into a single string. Okay. This object has no, oh sorry. It's not dot join. Okay, it's not dot join. It is this, and then it takes the list as an argument. Okay, it's not the list method. It takes the list as an argument, and then when we have an error there. So let me see error. Error says join name, join not defined. Okay. So let me go back and let's check our slide. Okay, let's check our slide again. And then okay. They say that the join method is okay. It's a method of split. It takes in. What does it? Let me see. Okay, so let's see. It takes a list of strings and join them together into a single string. Okay, join them together into a single string. All right, so let's see. Let's see how this one works. All right, so let's assume this X to be our list of strings. Okay, so let's say, give me a few minutes. Let me. Okay, so let's say we have a X. All right, okay, we have a variable X, and what it does is let's say we have a string. Let's say this string should contain A, right? Let's say something. Let's say something there, all right? And then we say that X dot join, okay? We want to join it to the sample list. I'll explain to you in a bit. I'll explain to you in a bit, okay? No, I shouldn't be printing that. Okay, give me a few minutes.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens. All right. So
Hello?
I figured that. Okay. Yeah.
Can I suggest something?
Okay. What is that? Okay. I think I fixed
Can I
it
suggest
out.
something?
Okay. Go on. Go on.
Okay,
Go
we
on.
have got,
Yeah. Yeah.
we have got me.
Yeah. I figured that out. I figured that out. All right. So now, what happened there was okay. What happened there was So now I said that the join is the opposite of the split. All right. What the split does is it takes a string and then convert the string into list. All right. So now same thing happens here. It takes a string also, right? And then instead of converting the string into list, it joins this string with each of the words, with each of the item there, and convert them into a single string, all right? So that if you run this and let's see what happens here. If we had mango, right? And then you join the mango with A. We had ball, now join the ball with A. We had pineapple, now join the ball with A. So whatever we put in that string, right? We can put dash there, right? You can put dash and it will just join everything up, okay, with dashes, okay. So that's what the join does, okay. That's what the join does, okay. Is there a question with that? Any question with that? Any
Can we
question
get
so far?
the screenshot of split and just a screenshot of split?
The screenshot of what?
Split.
So I can't really get to the screenshot of what exactly.
The meaning of split. I just want to capture the meaning of script. Split.
Okay, the split. All right. Okay, let me.
What's the subhead like? Where this split join delete come from?
Me, sorry, I didn't get the question. What's the what?
Like this split, delete, join. Which was like the subhead? What are they under?
Okay. A split is more like a list function. Okay, it's kind of like a function that it's a method. Okay, so I say method. Yes, let's use method. It's a list method. Okay, it's a list method. So I believe you've gotten that screenshot. And this is for join. Join is a person of split. Okay.
No, back to split direct.
Okay.
Okay, I'm working down.
Okay, all right. So that is that. So
that there's another thing again. Making tuples of a list and changing list. I need to get the
okay, making copies. All right, that is it. Making copies of a list.
Then changing list as well.
Okay, that's changing of how to change items in list. That is it.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Okay.
No.
All right. Okay, so
can you please show the page for joining the program you are running?
all right. So good